For decades, the FIFA World Cup was the ultimate crucible of global football, a perfect bracket where 32 nations fought for the pinnacle of glory. But 2026 is not just another tournament, it is a mathematical revolution, a logistical experiment on a global scale. The game is changing irrevocably, expanding from 32 teams to an unprecedented 48. This isn't merely 16 more flags on the map. This represents a seismic 33% surge in the schedule, skyrocketing the total number of matches from 64 to a staggering 104 in under 40 days. We are introducing 12 groups, the possibility of teams advancing after just one win, and a level of player fatigue never before witnessed. The competitive integrity is under immense pressure, sacrificed at the altar of an insatiable thirst for one thing: numbers. FIFA calls it expansion. Critics call it dilution. But the undeniable genius, or perhaps the cynical risk, lies in the cold calculus. More matches mean more broadcasting slots, more ticket sales, and crucially, projected revenue topping $11 billion. The question hanging over 2026 is not who will lift the trophy, but whether the cost of this insane mathematics is worth sacrificing the very soul of the beautiful game. Risk or genius? But to understand the true weight of this transition, from 32 to 48, and what is truly at stake, it is crucial we return to history, to the moment the World Cup discovered its golden formula. For decades, the tournament struggled with various configurations, from 13 teams in 1930 to the volatile structures of the 70s. But the 32-team format, introduced in France 1998, wasn't just a structure, it was a perfect competitive ecosystem. 8 groups of 4 guaranteed matches per venue for qualifying nations, 4 intense weeks, 64 precise and brutal matches. This format established competitive balance and competitive simplicity. The 4-team group ensured that error was immediately punished and that qualification was a testament to true endurance. The path to the final was a defined 6-game gauntlet, demanding maximum effort without maximum exhaustion. This mathematical purity created the unparalleled global appeal we know today. But the very financial success of the classic 32's era created an insatiable appetite within FIFA. They saw that 64 matches generated billions, and they asked the fundamental question of capitalism: why not more? The shift to 48 teams, necessitating 104 matches, fundamentally changes the arithmetic. It is a grueling marathon that forces finalists to endure 8 matches in a shortened window, risking competitive dilution, player fatigue, and the erosion of the competitive integrity built over decades. The numbers confirm the motive. It is a high-stakes, calculated financial risk. But if the financial risk was clear, FIFA's truly insane engineering resided in the attempt to fit 48 nations into a structure that, minimally, looked fair. The chosen solution was the geometry of chaos: 12 groups of 4. This immediate expansion pushed the total number of matches in the group stage to 72, 8 more than the entire 2014 tournament, guaranteeing the increase in televised spots and ticket sales that FIFA demanded. However, the calculation quickly collapsed under its own weight when approaching the knockout stage. When you move from 16 teams to 32 in the last 16 round, you need 32 qualifiers. 12 winners and 12 runners-up accounts for 24 spots. The bottleneck was real. Suddenly, the perfect bracket structure of the past vanished. 8 crucial slots, 4 on the top side, 4 on the bottom, needed to be filled by the best third-placed teams. This mathematical gimmick is the antithesis of competitive fairness. It injects a dose of toxic anxiety into the tournament's most climactic moment. Teams finishing their group stage matches won't know if they've advanced or if they are simply waiting for results 24 or 48 hours later, outcomes they cannot influence. The visceral thrill of do-or-die competition is replaced by the cold, complex calculus of waiting. This lack of clarity, this confusion in the qualifying criteria, represents the ultimate logistical risk, where the pursuit of revenue fundamentally compromised the integrity and emotional purity of the beautiful game. If the previous block detailed the financial ledger and the supreme logistical risk, we must now descend from the organizer's spreadsheets to the competition's most fragile and fundamental element: the player. The 48-team World Cup, Despite the increase in participating nations, exponentially increases physical demands. Finalists must now play 8 matches, a 14% increase in physical load, packed into an already grueling schedule. Players arriving from European seasons with 60 or more games will be pushed to the absolute limit of human endurance. This is not just about exhaustion, it is about performance decay. Where is the genius if the body is collapsing? Where is the promised spectacle if crucial errors become an inevitable consequence of extreme fatigue? But there is a more insidious cost: competitive justice. The new format, featuring 12 groups and the complex qualification criteria for the 8 best third-place teams, reintroduces the specter of tactical manipulation, with results from already concluded groups determining who advances. Teams in the final match days may play for a specific strategic draw, or even a controlled loss, eliminating the natural, uncompromising impetus for victory. Fair play, the very soul of the sport, ceases to be an immutable law and becomes merely a variable to be calculated. This is the most tangible expression of the risk promised by the numbers. When expansion begins to erode the integrity of the game and the health of the athletes, genius steps aside and only the cold mathematics of profit remain. If profit is the engine, we must now turn our attention to the ledger. What precisely does the leap from 32 to 48 teams represent in monetary terms for FIFA? It represents an undeniable, mathematically calculated boom. The 2026 format rockets the total number of games from the traditional 64 to a staggering 104. That massive injection of content is pure gold for broadcasting contracts and inventory. FIFA projected that the expansion would generate an additional $1 billion in revenue per cycle, pushing total earnings close to $11 billion. This isn't just about selling more tickets, it's about controlling the most valuable media real estate in global sports. But the true genius of the expansion isn't solely financial, it is strategic market capture. By guaranteeing spots for smaller confederations, raising Africa's presence from 5 to 9 teams, Asia's from 4.5 to 8, FIFA secures political allegiance, votes, while unlocking vast, previously underserved fan bases for merchandising, broadcasting, and global partnerships. The competition might suffer, the players might break, but the market share will conquer the world. This is the cold geometry of globalization applied to the most beautiful game. And it is in this relentless calculation, where the emotion of the pitch is traded for the efficiency of the spreadsheet, that the central question driving our documentary lies. Looking at the 104 games, the 48 nations, and the logistical exhaustion, is FIFA paving the future or digging the grave of the spectacle itself? The risk is palpable. If the 2022 World Cup had 64 games of peak intensity, the 2026 version demands a brutal 62.5% increase in match volume. This isn't just extra time, it's the statistical guarantee of more injuries, more dull draws, and perhaps the most feared outcome, the dilution of the mystique. The format of 12 groups of 4, followed by the bizarre third-place qualification mechanism, transforms the group stage from a test of survival into a mere bureaucratic screening. But if we look at the numbers of genius, the financial genius, the answer is clear for FIFA. Every new nation added represents millions of new viewers, new sponsorship deals, and a revenue projection that could exceed $14 billion. The promise is not better football, it is more football, reaching 25% more of the planet. It is the geopolitics of sport, where inclusion is synonymous with profit. So what should we expect from this chaotic World Cup? Expect a calculated risk, a statistical experiment where the most important variable, the pure passion of the fan, is put to the test. The 48-team World Cup is, yes, a stroke of logistical and financial genius, but it is a stroke aimed at the heart of what makes the World Cup the supreme event: rarity, the perfection of the contest. It remains to be seen if the most beautiful game in the world will survive its own inevitable supersaturation.